Korea saw 170,016 cases as of midnight of today, exceeding the 170,000 mark for 2 days in a row. The government believes that the latest spike in cases poses a short-term risk, but may end up stabilizing the situation in the long run.
South Korea reported 171,452 new COVID-19 cases on Wednesday. The daily virus tally for this day of the week has been doubling continuously. The figure has entered the government's projected peak range of between 140,000 and 270,000 cases. But the country may have not reached the peak yet. The infection reproduction number, which shows how many individuals one case can infect, has stayed above 1, indicating the daily tally will keep rising for some time.
유효 감염제 생산 지수가 지난 2주 전에는 쭉 계속 감소할 것이라고 가정을 했었는데요. 지금 정체 시기에 있기 때문에 오미크론의 어떤 감염력이 굉장히 큰 것을 다시 한번 확인할 수 있었고요.
With the spike in cases, 82 people died on Thursday and more than 580,000 patients are being treated at home. Authorities said such case increases may be considered a short-term risk, but also could turn out to be a positive factor in the long run. The case surges are slowing down in the US, the UK, and Germany after peaking. Experts predict as more people become vaccinated or acquire natural immunity, it would take a shorter amount of time to reach the peak, and consequently, the transmission would slow down.
중장기적으로는 오미크론이 델타에 비해서 치명률이 상당히 낮은 상황에서 한 번의 이 유행 이후에 전체적인 이 안정기가 필요한 상황이기 때문에 일상 회복을 위한 긍정적인 요인들도 있다라고 보고 있습니다.
Here in the nation, some 6,500 local government workers are assigned to public clinics to help reduce workload. Additional public employees from the central government ministries will be dispatched next week.
COVID-19 cases are surging among children 11 and younger who are not eligible for vaccination yet. The government has approved a COVID-19 vaccine for children ages 5 to 11 in a bid to reduce infections.
Just last month, 2 PE teachers in Daegu contracted the coronavirus. The outbreak spread to 3 daycare centers, 2 kindergartens, and 3 after-school English academies, resulting in a total of 360 cases. Most of the infected were young children. Children 11 and younger who are not eligible for vaccination yet are increasingly falling victim to mass outbreaks.
집단적으로 모여서 지내고 그 연령대 아이들은 어른들보다 위생관념이 좀 떨어질 수밖에 없는 상황이니까 확진자의 많은 수를 차지하는 이유라고 판단됩니다.
The number of cases among children 9 and younger has surged by 7.6 times in just a month. That's nearly 15% of all reported cases. The government has given the green light to administering the Pfizer vaccine to children between the ages of 5 and 11. They'll receive 2 shots in total, 3 weeks apart. The Ministry of Food and Drug Safety says no serious adverse or fatal effects, including myocarditis or anaphylaxis, have been reported among children in clinical trials. The vaccine is currently in use in 62 countries, including the US and EU nations. But it remains to be seen if immunizations will be able to alleviate parents' worries.
저는 우선 불안해서 못 맞힐 것 같고요. 제 경우에서도 원래는 백신을 안 맞으려고 했는데 부작용들이 워낙 많아가지고.
The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency says it's securing sufficient amount of vaccines for children and will announce the specific immunization plan come next month.
The World Health Organization plans to establish a global biomanufacturing training hub in South Korea. The facility is designed to teach lower-income countries how to produce vaccines and biopharmaceutical products on their own. The WHO launched the Training Hub project as a way to ease the disparity in vaccine distribution, which emerged as a serious problem in the fight against COVID-19. Now turning to politics, Democratic Party presidential candidate Lee Jae-myung visited the Chungcheong area to ask for voter support while claiming that he is the son-in-law of Chungcheong-do. He criticized his opponent Yoon Suk-yeol's pledge to deploy the missile defense system and promised to realize the late President Roh Moo-hyun's dream of balanced regional development. He visited Chungju, the hometown of his father-in-law, today before campaigning in Wonju in Gangwon-do province.
Democratic Party presidential candidate Lee Jae-yeon continued his two-day campaigning in Chungcheongdo province. Calling himself the son-in-law of Chungcheong, Lee showed how Yoon Suk-yeol's THAAD pledge could affect the region.
이서방은 사드 이런 거 안 들고 다닙니다. 먹고 살 길이라든지 경제를 살린다든지 균형 발전 이런 거 들고 다닙니다, 여러분.
He promised to bring balanced development to the region by relocating public agencies, attracting private enterprises, and setting up his office in Sejong. The DP nominee pledged to realize the late President Roh Moo-hyun's dream.
기업을 납치하지 않고 기업을 유치할 수 있는 사람, 충남에도 기업을 데려올 수 있고 당진에도 신산업, 신재생에너지 산업 유치할 수 있는 사람이 누굽니까, 여러분?
He paid tribute to An Cheol-soo's campaign workers who died in a gas leak accident while campaigning in Cheonan. He pointed out the party that was ousted by candlelight vigils is looking to grab power again and re-emphasized the need for political reform to establish a multi-party system. The ruling bloc has been agreeing with People's Party candidate An Cheol-soo's proposal to change politics. The DP plans to table a bill that ensures a multi-party system by allowing multi-member electoral districts. He stopped at Chungju, the hometown of his father-in-law, before moving on to Wonju in Gangwon-do province.
Meanwhile, PPP presidential candidate Yoon Suk-yeol stumped the southwestern region for 2 days. He often mentioned the name of late President Kim Dae-jung and visited his birthhouse to pledge to follow in his footsteps. On Thursday, Yoon visited Suwon, Gyeonggi-do province.
The People Power Party presidential nominee Yoon Suk-yeol took an hour-and-a-half ferry ride to visit the birthplace of late President Kim Dae-jung. He's the first conservative presidential hopeful to do so.
김대중 정신은 자유민주주의와 시장 경제에 기반한 국민 통합 정신입니다. 위대한 정신을 잘 계승해야 하겠습니다.
In Mokpo, Yoon cited President Kim Dae-jung's inauguration and election campaign speeches and highlighted the late president's achievements. Yoon went on to draw comparisons, elaborating that Kim Dae-jung's teachings are better represented by him and the People Power Party rather than the current Democratic Party.
다 보셨지 않습니까? 이게 김대중 대통령님의 DNA가 담긴 그런 민주당이 맞습니까?
Yoon says the upcoming election will be a standoff between the great common sense of the people and the corrupt DP led by Lee Jae-myung. During his visit to the Donghak Peasant Revolution Foundation, he stressed the spirit of the revolution defying corruption led by the powerful members of society. Yoon's message targets his rival Lee Jae-myung in connection to the Daejangdong land development scandal. On Thursday, Yoon visited the city of Suwon to emphasize that he and the people are on one team. He also attended a ceremony where former parliamentary speakers and lawmakers from the ruling and opposition parties announced their endorsements.
The Daejangdong land development scandal surrounding Lee Jae-myung is one of the largest political hot potatoes in the election season, and presidential candidates continue to be sparring over the issue. An incumbent Supreme Court justice revealed his position on accusations against him, which were raised by Kim Man-bae, a key figure in the scandal.
In a press conference on Wednesday, Supreme Court Justice Jae-yeon directly presented a news report that an incumbent Supreme Court justice had been mentioned in a transcript prepared by accountant Chung Young-hak, another key figure in the Daejangdong scandal. According to the recording, Kim Man-bae promised to buy the justice an expensive house, referring to him as that person. Cho, however, flatly denied the report that apparently pointed to him.
깜짝 놀랐습니다. 전혀 사실무근일 뿐만 아니라 대통령 선거를 목전에 두고 왜 갑자기 이런 의혹 기사가
The justice stressed he had never met or had phone calls with anyone involved in the Daejangdong development project. He refuted the transcript claiming that one of his daughters had lived in a house provided by Kim Man-bae. He said he and his 3 daughters are living in other places completely unrelated to the allegations. This is the first time an incumbent Supreme Court justice called for a press conference. Cho said he had to hold such a session since the mounting suspicions are causing public distrust in the judiciary system after a presidential candidate mentioned his name in a nationally televised debate.
그분이 조재현 대법관이다라는 게 지금 확인이 돼서 보도가 나고 있는데
Cho added he is also considering legal action.
타인의 명예를 중대하게 훼손하는 행위에 대해서는 엄정하게 법의 심판을 받아야 된다는 것이
Prosecutors previously carried out an investigation to find out if the accusations against Jo in the transcript were true, but no solid evidence backing the allegations has been found.
The Bank of Korea has decided to keep its benchmark interest rate unchanged at 1.25%, following two raises of a quarter percentage points in last November and January. Thursday's decision is seen as a move to have some time to review variables at home and abroad, such as the recent spike in COVID-19 infections, China's growth slowdown, and the Russia-Ukraine crisis. With the clouds of war looming over Ukraine, the South Korean embassy in the East European countries sent out a warning urging South Koreans there to get prepared for all possible emergencies. In the notice, the embassy strongly advised South Korean people to get fully ready and quickly evacuate to safe places when a war breaks out. It's the graduation season in Korea ahead of a new school year. One graduation in Chungju, Chungcheongbuk-do Province was especially meaningful as students with an average age of over 78 received their middle school diplomas at last.
Students wearing mortarboards sitting at their desks listen carefully to their teacher giving a speech. Their faces may be hidden behind the masks, but beyond their wrinkled eyes, you can see an emotionally charged sense of bittersweet goodbye as they graduate. This is a middle school graduation for a group of elderly women whose average age amounts to 78.7. A student well over 90, seen in a graduation gown, is grateful to her teacher.
수학이 많이 어렵고 그랬어요. 그런데 이제 선생님들이 잘 가르쳐 주시고 잘 돌봐주셔서 잘 배웠습니다.
Another graduate, nearly 80, didn't give up neither her job nor her studies. And she's not done either. Her dream now is to go to high school and then on to college.
일찍 일어나서 환자를 모셔다 병원에 드리고 다시 와서 학교에서 공부하고 다시 가서 환자를 모셔다 드리고 그렇게.
Her granddaughter, who also graduated from middle school not long ago, is overwhelmed with emotions.
가끔씩 공부를 놓고 싶을 때가 있는데 할머니 보면서 저도 할머니랑 같이 공부가 하고 싶어서 저도 끈 잡고 다시 열심히 공부하게 될 때도 많았어요.
Nippon School in Chungju, Chungcheongbuk-do Province started out as a literacy school, but now has become an accredited institution. Over the past 5 years, 29 elderly students received their elementary and middle school diplomas.
그분들은 저희한테 배워서 행복하다고 하지만 저희는 그분들의 그러한 열심히 공부하는 모습에서 그 행복감을 느꼈거든요.
Neither COVID-19 nor old age could deter their fervent desire to learn.